Now, you wouldn't think it looking at the news agenda over the last couple of weeks, but there are actually other things going on in the country besides cake, ambushes and parties, can you believe it? And one of those things that is particularly important to me, and I can imagine millions of others across the country, are the rates of child neglect, child abuse and child killings we are currently experiencing. Dig through all the newspapers pages this morning and any other day this week on Partygate, and you'll find that new analysis by the NSPCC has found that police made an average of 669 child protection referrals to social services every single day in 2020-2021. A total of nearly 245,000 across the year. That's an 8% increase from the previous year. You may have also seen the news that in the 12 months up to June 2021, there was a 23% increase in police recorded cases of child cruelty compared to the previous year. Now, the sad reality is that this will come as no surprise to those of us who, whilst understanding the need to protect the public's health during the pandemic, were also warning over and over about the consequences of forcing vulnerable people to be trapped in their homes. Homes which for too many children were, simply put, death traps. Now, I've spoken on many occasions on this programme, as recently as last week, in fact, about how social services are failing too many children. But I want to talk about another related issue, which I, for the life of me, cannot get my head around. Last Friday, we heard the news that a London couple had been jailed after causing their 8-week-old baby, Amina Faye, to die a horrible death with more than 60 broken bones. That's right. More than 60 broken bones, 41 fractures to her ribs and 24 fractures to her limbs. No words can even begin to articulate this level of evil. But this is the part that really gets to me. The couple, Benjamin O'Shea and Naomi Johnson, who were found guilty, were jailed for 8.5 years and 7 years, respectively. By the way, the 16-month-old Star Hobson, who was brutally murdered by her stepmom, was also given a measly sentence of 8 years, the mother of Star Hobson. So why such pitiful sentences? Well, that's because the maximum sentence you can get for the offence of, quote, causing or allowing a child to suffer serious physical harm is 10 years. The maximum jail sentence for the offence of causing or allowing a child to die, 14 years. That's according to the Sentencing Council for England and Wales, who determine maximum sentences judges can hand down. Now, it has to be noted that the police say that in the case of Amina Faye, murder charges couldn't be brought against the parents because no cause of death was ever established. But nonetheless, there are serious questions to be answered here. An 8-week-old baby turns up dead with over 60 broken bones, and the best we can do is give those proven to be responsible a few years behind bars. That's despite medical experts concluding the baby's fractures were caused on several occasions and were not accidental. That's despite the fact Amina Faye's parents refused to take her to the doctor on an occasion when she was coughing up blood. That's despite the fact the judge deemed Amina Faye's injuries, and I quote, deliberate and vicious, and, again I quote, could have only been caused by a brutal attack. Despite all of that, the best we can do as a justice system was 8 measly years. Really? I think there's a major disparity here between what the British public deem reasonable and just and what Parliament, which sets the framework for sentencing, and the Sentencing Council, which produces sentencing guidelines to use, think is reasonable and just. Look, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know all the particularities of this case, and I don't claim to know the ins and outs of the criminal justice system. But I do know this. Our justice system repeatedly fails victims. It's ineffective, too many sentences feel morally unjustifiable, and I'm deeply ashamed to live in a country where child killers walk free within years.